Welcome to the first episode of InvestorPool, a carpool series that's all about real estate, finance, improving your knowledge, and also giving you the skills to improve your income. Why is this important? Well, when I reflect back on my journey through real estate investing, I found that you can't really be the expert at everything. But each of the experts do really change your view of how you can add value to your own investing journey. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be bringing on experts from real estate, finance, and other industries to help you with your investing journey, both from growing your skill base and income, as well as growing your assets. I know that I'm really excited to learn from these professionals, and I hope you are too. Today's guest is none other than Pham from MistryFallahi Lawyers Business Advisors. They were the 2018 winners of the Boutique Technology Law Firm in Australia. Now you can imagine, does Jennifer not only have experience personally of over 8 years in law, but she actually has also completed over 2,500 transactions in the space of property conveyancing. Now that's a lot of experience, and that's a lot of value she'll be able to bring from both the goods and the bads, and how she's helped customers and the stories that she's learned from customers also. Now, we'll be hearing about Jennifer's story, her career, her tips in her profession, as well as her tips to investors. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you on the first episode of InvestorPool. All right, Jen, thank you for joining me.
Yes, thank you for having me, Arjun. It's lovely to be here.
Welcome to InvestorPool, right?
Yeah, thank you.
I'd really love to start off by actually getting to know more about your journey. I was able to explain to some of the viewers today where you're from and some of your experience, but before you were a lawyer, where did it all start?
So I studied a Bachelor of Law and Bachelor of Business degree, and I went into that with the intention of becoming a lawyer, but the main question for me was, what sort of area did I want to practice in? Because as you know, law is so diverse and there's massive, so many avenues. Yeah. And so I spent a few years just trying different hats on, so to speak. And I tried different things like estate planning, commercial. I even did a bit of criminal for a little bit.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It was very interesting, but not something I'd like to revisit.
So we're in property now.
Yep.
And you're partnering up at MistryFallahi, is that right?
Yep, that's correct. So that's where I spend most of my time. I'm on the floor. I spend most of my days helping clients, talking to people, working with people such as yourself, just to get the best outcome for our clients, because it's actually really, really difficult, and especially when you consider all of the moving parts and processes and things like that. There's so many ways that it can go wrong.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's so important. I mean, personally, I've worked with you for all 9 of my property transactions, and also with many of our investor kit customers, the same too. Yep. In terms of the conveyancing process, so I'm sure people out there want to learn, why is it so important? Why is it important for you?
Well, it's so important because there's a lot of pitfalls. Like, for example, the contracts are very thick legal documents.
They're huge, right? Like, as soon as I get one, I'm like, okay, what am I doing with this again?
They're definitely not. Definitely not drafted in plain English, and so there's a lot of things that can catch people off guard, and it's not really apparent at the beginning. So for me, the most important thing I say to people, I say, look, you need to start off with getting the right advice, and I believe that starts off with having like the right network of people around you. So, like, you know, having a good buyer's agent to assist you, having good finance people to look after that side of things.
It's almost like a whole team coming together, right?
Yeah, it's like teamwork, basically.
Yep.
We come together, and the goal is to, like, I guess, score for the client, so to speak.
Now, there's also things that, you know, can catch people off, right?
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Me and you actually were looking at a property some time ago.
Yep.
And when I was dealing with the MistryFallahi team, I realized that, okay, this one property used to be a fuel station.
Yes.
And so I didn't actually know that looking into the property, but you guys were able to pick that up, and then there were different effects off the back of that.
Yes.
Now, let's go into, I guess, when someone is looking to buy a property, the different things that can come up.
Yep.
What are some examples of things that have come up where people have been surprised and gone, Jen, Oh my God, I'm so glad you guys were on my team looking at this, because I didn't know about this.
So the most interesting one that comes to mind is there was this client who was looking at purchasing a residential property in New South Wales. It was offered at a very good price, so there was a bit of a discount on the purchase price. So he was a little bit suspicious, because he was like, why is this property so cheap?
So cheap, right?
Why? And so he asked the agent. The agent was like, oh, it's all good, nothing that I'm aware of. And the client sent us the contract to have a look, and then and there in the contract was vendor disclosure to say that this was actually the house where the vendor's father had actually committed suicide in the basement.
Wow.
So my clients these particular clients were very superstitious. So
Okay.
as soon as they heard that, they were like, no, we're not buying it.
Yeah,
and,
wow.
And it was actually the first. So this client now actually has bought 4 properties through us.
Okay.
Because from that initial interaction, we were able to build the trust and the confidence for the client. And he was just amazed, and he said, thank you so much for that. So
Wow.
sometimes,
Isn't it unreal what you
yeah,
can find just through like the lines of a contract?
It is.
And it may not be something that the common buyer or the everyday buyer can look at and understand, right?
Yep.
Are there other things as well that you feel like on a contract, okay, this is why you should get the professionals involved, in terms of maybe another situation that has come up in your mind?
Yep. So most common one, and anyone who's looking at building their own home or building like something under a house and land package will know, is council development restrictions. So
Interesting one.
yeah, in most contracts there is some information about council zoning and restrictions and things like that. If not, there's always the opportunity to go out and do further due diligence and to look things up. But most recent example is a client came to us with requesting some assistance with a building contract, and so we looked at that and we asked him for information about, I guess, the development restrictions and a copy of the title search.
Right.
He gave that to us, and we point blank had to say to him, look, I'm very sorry, but what you want to do, you can't do on this land, because he wanted to build some townhouses on this land. So he had like architectural plans and things like that drawn up for like a series of 3 townhouses.
So he would have input the money to see the architect and go through that. Is this close from buying the place, and then all of a sudden you've gone...
He actually secured the land.
Oh, wow.
So in this part, it was honestly, I believe it's an oversight from whoever assisted him with the acquisition of the land. But when he came to us requesting assistance with the building contract side of things, we said to him, look, I'm really sorry, but townhouses, dual occupancies, or detached dwellings are not permitted within this council zone.
Wow.
And when we said that to him, he was completely shocked, because he said, his next question was, why didn't they tell me about it?
So I'd be shocked too if I was in that situation. That's a big change.
Yeah, because like for him, like it drastically affected his ability to be able to resell. Like the resale value of the property was affected. At least let's just say he wasn't very, very happy.
Yes, I mean there's situations like this where people now know that, okay, the value of having a conveyancer and a lawyer look into the contract, and look into not just the contract but deeper things around it. How does the common buyer or the first time investor understand which conveyancer is good and which one isn't? I mean, from the top level it's hard to know, right? Are there any tips that you can give for someone to go, why should I choose you, Jen, or why should I choose this company? And as a first-time investor, I'm really at your mercy, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I personally believe in a try before you buy sort of policy. So that's why for me personally, I offer people just a test run where they can send me a contract, and I'll look at it and I will explain things to them, and I can advise on the next steps, and they can make a decision whether or not they wish to proceed with me. I can tell you I have a 100% conversion rate there. But
hey, good stuff. Right? I mean, people obviously, I think that should be celebrated in its own, because people see the value if they're looking to proceed, right?
Yes, and especially if you're like a first-time investor, you kind of want to see if, you're going to work well with this person. And I guess like just be on the lookout for like signs or indications that this person is helpful and responsive, because I cannot tell you the number one complaint I have about people or conveyancers or lawyers, whatever the case may be, is that they're not responsive. So just sort of feel out how, you know, they are initially when like corresponding with you, and just see if they're responsive,
especially
they answer
if
your
there's like
questions.
such a short time period between, you know, some different states, right, offer different cooling off periods or different clauses. And even just maybe if you're looking at something that where there's a bit of competition to buy it,
Yep.
you might not have all the time to find all this stuff out. So true regarding the responsiveness. There might be a lot of different lawyers or conveyancers watching this, and you know, I've said very high things about, you know, your experience, the company that you work for, and I've been supported by it personally. I mean, to those people in the profession watching it, are there any tips that you can give in terms of how they can even better look after their customers?
Look, at the end of the day, we live and die by our clients. Like, that's my personal motto. And so for me, the best piece of advice that I can give is listen to your clients, because sometimes, like for me personally, an exercise I do is after the end of every matter, I speak to the clients to say congratulations, you know, have that chat with them. But then I also ask them seriously, look, did you have a good experience working with us? And if there's anything you didn't like or you feel like we can improve on, then please, like, feel free to just be honest with me and just tell me, because at the end of the day, like, we can only learn through our mistakes.
Let's bust some myth. So,
ooh, I like this part.
I find sometimes feel like, you know, I actually learned this myself. I had to, you know, diversify my investing portfolio and look at other states.
Yep.
And I was under the impression of, which lawyer do I choose in another state? I mean, which conveyancer? Who's going to help me? But then I very quickly learned that it's not the case. Similar to investing in property, where people utilize my services as a buyer's agent to go, all right, we can look across multiple states. The same way you can operate and support customers with their contracts across multiple states.
That's right.
So looking at that, I mean, how do you find people can go, okay, Jen, you know, you can support in different states. Why should I come to you for different states when I could perhaps talk to the person in Adelaide?
I guess it really depends on like who the client is comfortable with, because I develop a lot of long-term relationships with clients. So with people, like, because every time that someone needs to find like a new solicitor in a different state, it's sort of like a mixed bag, because they're not from there. It's not a local area for them. They don't know what's good. They don't know what's not. The other thing as well is logistically, because we're based in Sydney. So if our client's based in Sydney, like if we need them to sign a document or something like that, it's much, much easier.
Right. And I also find that, you know, if we take the emotion away from it, it's not like you need to go and see the property, right? You know, it's not like you're flying over to Perth, or although that'd be nice for a holiday, right? But it's not like you're flying over to see the properties. There's contractual reviews. There's you know, in-depth analysis of the property. There's, you know, certain, I guess, ordering of documents. That all happens without having to go see it. So I guess almost similar to each other, it's removing the emotion out of it that should be most important for the customer, right?
That's right.
Hey Jen, thank you so much for joining us on the first episode of InvestorPool. And everyone watching, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to InvestorKit on YouTube, InvestorKit on Facebook, and investorkit.com.au on Instagram. And as for Jen here, please do check out MistryFallahi. Jen is a partner there and would definitely do her best to look after you as her clients. Thank you.